Welcome to the 2024 Baseballtown Charities Phillies Winter Tour, presented by Leibensberger Funeral Homes.
Since its inception in 2002, Baseballtown at Charities has been investing in the future of baseball, raising several $1 million to build facilities and fund programs in and around Reading. It started with the construction of Gordon Hudak Stadium at Lowers Park, a baseball palace for inner-city boys and girls of the Baseballtown Junior RBI League. It continued with the renovation of Reading's historic Bear Park, and then expanded beyond the city limits to build the Savage 61 Dream Field, a ballpark specially designed for those with physical and cognitive challenges. In addition to financially supporting the leagues that utilize these facilities, Baseballtown at Charities recently started the Rip It for Life program, which provides free lessons, batting cage time, and invaluable guidance about life to players who lack the financial ability to pursue playing at a higher level. We invite you to celebrate our national pastime while preserving its future by supporting Baseballtown at Charities. Please visit baseballtown.org to donate today.
Welcome into the 2024 Baseballtown Charities Phillies Winter Tour. I'm our Phillies radio broadcaster, Jake Starr, and I'm very excited to be joined by Phillies pitcher Orion Kerkering. Orion, first of all, thanks so much for hopping on with us today. How are things going?
Absolutely. It's a great time. I can't complain one bit, having a good time out here. So
Awesome. So, we'll kind of just dive into things right now, and we'll start with last year, and just the 2023 that you had is probably a season that not many professional baseball players have had in their careers. You start all the way in Clearwater, you finish pitching postseason games for the Phillies. Did you expect in April that you were going to end up where you ended up in October?
no, not at all. I barely even expected to be up in Double-A. So it's just kind of weird to see how fast progressively got better each time. So just kind of keep rolling with it and keep going into next year with that same attitude.
Was there a point during the season last year where you thought that maybe getting to the big leagues in 23 was, a possibility?
No, not at all. I mean, it was kind of weird because I know towards the end, some guys were getting ready for the fall league and stuff like that. So I know we brought out a couple big league baseballs and just kind of playing with it a little bit. And they're like, all right, we don't know who's going to go up or what guys are going to go to AAA, kind of stuff like that. So it was a couple of us. So it was all right, we might go up, we might not, at least just kind of experiment with it. So definitely not the big leagues for sure.
So we'll go back to last year now, and, April through September, progression wise, obviously a lot of guys might not play in 3 levels in a year, but for you, 3 levels, okay, that is, that's what kind of it was. You were in Clearwater, then Jersey Shore, then you came to Reading around mid-July. You get towards the end of the season in Reading, and I remember, we talked in maybe late September, last series of the year, and you said, I'd just be happy to, open up back in Reading. From that point forward, of course, what happened was kind of, unpredictable. What was just the craziness and the hecticness of that whole maybe 10-day period from when we left Binghamton, maybe September 17th, to then making your big league debut 10 days later?
It was pretty nuts to think about because you never expected that way. So it was kind of a couple of us that Al brought a couple of us in, just kind of talking about oh, you guys are going to go to AAA this extra week, just kind of see your feet are wet, kind of get used to the area. So it was me, Mick, I'm trying to think, Parkinson, Parky, and then I can't remember who else went up. I know us 3 went up and maybe one other guy, two other guys. So just kind of having fun. Oh, McKinley went up there too with his all rehab stuff. So just kind of fun with it. And then just kind of getting the phone call that Thursday or Friday. It's hey, you're gonna go up to the big leagues today. So it's kind of weird to see it that way.
So walk us through that moment. Where were you? Who called you? What was your reaction? And what did you do right after that?
So I was actually heading out before the game. Our game was later that night, at 7 or something. So it was do a couple errands, go check out Allentown, kind of stuff like that. And then I got the call about 11 in the afternoon, mid-morning kind of. And then with the AAA guy, Anthony, and he was saying, hey, I usually don't do this over the phone. Usually do this in person, but you're going to big leagues today. And so it was just kind of a surreal moment, kind of. And it's just after living in a suitcase already for Binghamton, New York. So it's kind of all the clothes I wore there was like the same clothes I was wearing through Lehigh. So it was kind of like repack that suitcase I unpacked like 3 or 4 days ago to now going to Philly and stuff like that. So it was pretty weird.
You make your big league debut, get a couple of strikeouts in that first inning you pitch. You come out of the bullpen. What are you feeling as you're kind of approaching the mound for the first time in a big league game?
For sure, super nervous. Like especially, I think I was more nervous in the bullpen than actually in the game mound. I was just kind of like, I don't, doesn't feel real yet. And then when you walk through like the bullpen gate, you kind of see everyone there and like the 3 or 4 decks. It's kind of surreal moment, kind of. It's like, dang, this is really happening. And then like once you got out to the mound and like I looked down and like did my usual routine, kind of like make sure my cleats are all good, kind of like I got my sticking point, kind of look out, kind of take a deep breath, and then I look down and it's like it's JT, like one of the best catchers in the league. So it was like super comfortable.
When you got that first strikeout, did you feel like a sense of relief or a sense of like, okay, like I'm here, like I can do this, or was it kind of just business as usual?
I think for sure business as usual, kind of like just keep it there. I think like the most I think best one was like when I got that first strike kind of and not kind of overthinking it because I know like some guys like even if you go up to a new level, it's like, all right, just throw over the plate, it's the same whatever, and kind of get like that scared like positivity. But it's like you just came in positive where it's just like it's the same 60 feet 6 inches, you can just throw it over the plate. It's the same hitters getting the same whatever outs at the same time as like the lower level. So it's just the same game. So just keep it simple.
And then from that debut, your dad became very famous off of that. What was kind of what was the reaction from just, seeing your dad and how much he enjoyed your debut and just the fanfare that kind of came for your dad out of that?
It was awesome. Like I didn't realize it. Like he was like that emotional towards after I got in the locker room and stuff like that, and hearing over the broadcast after like the post game interview and stuff. So it was kind of surreal and kind of look at it later tonight. Kind of like always have that special moment with him for the rest of our lives.
Now, was there a point, end of the regular season where there was a conversation about, you know, hey, you're going to be on the postseason roster. Here's what your role is going to be. Was there ever that kind of conversation?
No, there wasn't. It was just kind of be ready whenever your name gets called, and that's what how I usually roll with things. It's just like doesn't matter if it's like the sixth inning or the ninth inning, just kind of be ready at any moment. Just because I knew it was like the newer guy and the younger guy, so I knew I was kind of not wouldn't get the high leverage situation because every pitcher can get in there and like they're trying to trust me more in those big situations. But it's always like I kind of you always get that hunch where it's like okay, I'm about to go in, kind of like when it was like during the NLCS, we're up like 10-0, and it's like that's my turn just because I'm the younger guy trying to get my feet wet, kind of, and stuff like that. So it wasn't like too worried about it as much, and just be ready to go when my name was called.
Now, game one in Atlanta, Phillies, Thompson articulated a masterful plan with Ranger, and then all of you guys kind of piggybacking off of one another in that game one win. You came into a, pretty decently leveraged situation. Just going into that game, did you kind of know the plan of attack that, your staff wanted to use? And then when you got in there, big playoff situation on the road, intimidating environment, how did that feel?
It was a pretty cool moment just because like he has a kid like playing summer ball over there in Atlanta during the summer, and like I think that's like when they first built their ballpark over there. It was like always wanting to go over there, but every time we came into town, they were on the road, so it was like it was kind of weird. Like my first time actually visiting the stadium and seeing the stadium was like being on the pitcher's mound during the ALDS or NLDS, so it was kind of weird to see it that way, but it was a pretty cool moment and special moment that like you'll always remember. Just kind of understand like where people come from, and it's not like taking it for granted almost. So it's just trying to have as much fun as you can with it.
Now, from that, postseason run as a whole, obviously, you wish you would have went a little bit further, but when you had a chance to look back and reflect on some of the moments that maybe came out of that run, even not maybe for you specifically, but just for the team, what were some memories or moments that when you look back on it, you're like, that was pretty cool?
I think when we first clinched and like kind of like obviously every time we pop champagne bottles, but I think more so like when we clinched into the playoffs because I was able to get my first win, and then like after the win or whatever, or when we clinched, we had the champagne shower and stuff like that. So I think that was a pretty cool special moment.
And I believe was it that one where Kyle Schwarber looked at you and was like strike one, strike like he was doing something.
Like slider,
Yeah.
100. Yeah, it was that one or Miami. I forget which one it was.
And you're in that clubhouse, you're popping champagne a couple of days into your big league career, and you're standing there celebrating with guys like Kyle Schwarber, Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto. Uh, what was that experience like?
At first, it was kind of like I want to like overdo it or like overstep myself just because I've been there for less than a week. So just kind of getting a feel for everything still. So just trying to understand everything. So it was pretty cool that way.
And then the season did come to an end. Did you have it? You were, pretty like we talked about, go 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 for a while, right? Clearwater to Jersey Shore to Reading, and then once you left Reading, it was really on hyper speed. You maybe got back home. Did you have a chance to kind of sit down, reflect, and look back on what that season was like?
Yeah, more so like back in January, kind of like early on January, like Christmas time, just kind of like seeing back because it's like even November, you're still like I just finished whatever because I was always playing up till October and stuff like that. So didn't really settle into like about Christmas time where it's just like that was a long ass year. That was like a lot, like more than like I expected, obviously, my first year. Not like it was a bad thing, but just a lot more intense each way it got. So just kind of reflect off of that way and like what I did good, what I did bad, and just keep learning with it.
And I know you said that you got home and you wanted to get back to work. You didn't want to waste much time.
Yeah.
From the time you got home, when did you start kind of getting after it again and getting ready for this season?
Just honestly, I think I took like that weekend, like I drove back home. It was like during the midweek. So I think it was probably like four, no more than like 5 days. Like I think I got back like Thursday or something, Wednesday, whatever it was. And then like that Monday, like kind of or that weekend, I hung out, and then like that Monday, it was like, okay, I'm done, just not doing anything. I just need to go do something. So just kind of working at it that way.
And then what has the off season looked like for you? What have you been working on? What other big goals have you tried to attack?
Obviously keep the arm healthy, keep the body healthy, kind of do a lot of recovery stuff, making sure I'm getting ready for next year. Lifting, obviously, keeping in shape, and then focusing more on the two seam aspect of it this year. So just kind of be ready for that, be able to come like east and west with the two seam and slider and kind of work off with the fastball too. So just be able to have fun with it.
And then you get to go into your first big league camp this year. As crazy as that is, playing in the postseason before even being a big league camp, but you get to do that for the first time this year. Does this having that sense of familiarity with the guys now and knowing that you have pitched in big league games, like give you a sense of calm and a sense of confidence as get into big league camp in a couple weeks?
For sure, yeah. I think it's just kind of like seeing everyone again. It's not like I'm being like super nervous again, where it was like kind of early on, like not knowing everyone. It's like you had a couple guys know like who I was just through the grapevine, through them talking, through other people talking. So it was just kind of like that way with it. But just be able to like know who like everyone is, everyone knows like who you are, just be able to talk with them, have a conversation with them. I think that's been a lot easier for me and just able to like feel more closer with them to the aspect of like I'm not like terrified to ask a question or I'm like I don't want to like ruin like what their prep is kind of like not disturb them or like annoy them, but it's like I don't want to like mess up someone else's thing. So it's just always weird like that. But now I feel like super confident where it's just like just go ask.
And what other relievers or pitchers on the team have you found yourself leaning on or maybe asking questions of?
A lot like Alvarado, Strom, and Hoffman were main few. Then Craig when he was back in Philly with us during the postseason, so be able to like talk with those guys, see like what they've done alive, and this year kind of leaning on like Nola a little bit, Wheeler, just asking those kind of simple questions, just because they have such a big workload. So it's kind of like ask those kind of questions of like, what do you do? Kind of like what fits you perfectly, kind of like that. So it's just kind of better understand everyone's aspect and why they're there for so long.
And then you look at kind of the makeup of this bullpen, and it's shaping up that you're gonna have a pretty big role this year, and definitely maybe finding yourself in a lot of high leverage spots. How excited are you for that opportunity to get the pitch in a lot of big games and in a lot of high leverage situations? For that challenge this year.
It'll be super fun, obviously, just kind of like your first full year up there, just be able to experience that and them like giving that trust in you so early on, just kind of like seeing how good, not like how good you are, but like seeing how confident they are in yourself. So it kind of helps me a lot, just see like how much like they do care about like not only me, but like a lot of the other guys. And like, because Topper can give like a lot of like back and forth between guys, like he's got it, this guy's got it, this guy's got this guy's got that. So just more of that confidence factor that they give us. So because it doesn't matter like with us where it's like whoever goes in, but it's just be able to have as much fun as we can when we go in those high leverage situations.
And obviously starting to get back into the swing of things in Clearwater and start to kind of get in there as we get closer to spring training and the regular season. From what you've gotten, what's the mentality of the group this year? Obviously, feels like a lot of the guys feel like there was a lot of unfinished business from last year. What's the group kind of, what's the mentality like and how do they feel getting into this year?
No, you said the words out of my mouth, just kind of like unfinished business, kind of like we wanted to win last year. Obviously, like I watched them like through the whole career. You can kind of just see in their faces and like their minds, like even from a distance as a fan, like they want it like really bad. Like we want it really bad. So it's just kind of like coming in every single day, like ready to go. Like doesn't matter. You can't take the foot off the gas, kind of, or that aspect of it. So just be ready to go every step of the way and don't take every day for granted, especially in October when it comes to those important situations even more. So
Awesome. And then circling back here kind of real quick before we let you go, Orion, obviously you did spend a good amount of the year in Reading. You came up in, early mid-July, spent through the end of the regular season, mid-September in Baseballtown. What was that experience like pitching in front of the fans here at First Energy Stadium?
I'll say to all my buddies too, like Reading was probably one of the most like fun I've had in a long time, like playing baseball and just be able to experience like not even say the culture aspect because like everyone's like got their own different ways, obviously, and just we're all just trying to have fun. And, like Al being there and all the Bergie and all the other coaches, and just kind of like how you guys are, just kind of like you can see like how excited like people are coming to the ballpark. Like no matter if like we had a good game last night or like we lost or it was just a bad game, it was just kind of like you can see like people still want to come to the ballpark and get better each day, and just kind of like the workers there seem happy and like obviously how much like renovations are going on over there and kind of like seeing like what the next years are going to be like there. It's going to be pretty cool to watch from a fan aspect of it.
Absolutely. A lot of exciting stuff coming up for Reading, and of course, a lot of exciting year coming up for Ryan Kerkering and the Philadelphia Phillies. Well, Ryan, we thank you for joining us on the Baseballtown Charities Phillies Winter Tour. Really appreciate it. Best of luck this year. We can't wait to talk to you again soon.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, Jake.
After losing a loved one, families often wonder what next. You'll find the answer at Leibensberger Funeral Homes.
Everyone who walks through our doors is treated with respect and compassion.
We take the time to learn about your loved one and celebrate their life with a service that reflects who they really were.
Offering 2 locations, ample parking, and a spacious chapel and vestibule. Let our family help your family find peace at Leibensberger Funeral Homes.
Thank you for watching the 2024 Baseballtown Charities Phillies Winter Tour, presented by Leibensberger Funeral Homes.